and welcome to my channel. So I did tell you a few days ago that there were some masculines who I was feeling and their heart chakras were exploding, and I said there was a particular song, so I did get serenaded. I was driving home one night and this song, I didn't have the radio on or anything. Sometimes I just like to contemplate when I drive. And this song just came to me, and it's a song that I hadn't thought about for years. In fact, I'd completely forgotten about it. And it just started singing in my ear. And yeah, then when I went and did my Akashic meditation later that night, it was confirmed that yes, it was it was a lovely masculine serenade. And it encapsulates how a lot of masculines are feeling at the moment. They're really in their emotions. Not all of them, so I'm channeling a group of them, okay? And I don't like singing on camera. I'm very uncomfortable with it. So as a child, I had a moment where I was on center stage and freaked out so much and had my deer in headlights moment that I completely lost all of the words, and it was just an absolute disaster. And I've never really liked singing in front of people since. So I do enjoy singing, but only in front of people that I'm very comfortable with. So this is very unnatural, but you know, I sort of feel like it's going to resonate with someone that watches this. And I have here as a little reward, if I can just get through it. Anyone had these? Yeah, this is for my Aussies, by the way. Yeah, Cafe Latte Tim Tams. They're fairly new. They are so good. Okay, so it just started from this bit. God. But you still look perfect as days go by. Even the worst ones, you make me smile. I'd stop the world if it gave us time. 'Cause when you love someone, you open up your heart. When you love someone, you make room. And if you love someone and you're not afraid to lose them, you probably never loved someone like I do. You probably never loved someone like I do. All right, got through it. Thank God. Okay. Now I can get on to the bit that I'm actually excited about. So the other day, I did a reading. I think it's Baby Time. I was like off the charts that day, but I didn't delete it because you know what? I like that you see that there are so many different colors in the color wheel to humans, you know, and that's just another of my colors. So I'm not going to delete it. But one thing I do want to add to it is that for those of you who watched it, and if this doesn't make sense to you in a moment, maybe just go and watch that first and then watch this. Try not to think of it as feminine versus masculine. So they just arbitrarily decided on the names Alice and Bob, okay? And Alice female, Bob male. But if it makes you comfortable, because I don't want to trigger anybody, you can think of it as Adam and Bertha, okay? So don't think of it, it's not a battle of the sexes. It's more about the entanglement. That's the point that I was hoping to make. All right, so I want to go a little bit further with it today. You do need to, you know, sometimes when you go to uni or something and they say you can't do this subject until you've done this one first. So I'm not going to go back to it. Okay, so moving on from that. So if you have, why am I having difficulty seeing it today? All right, so if you have, here is Alice, okay, and that's her avatar there, okay? That's Alice. And this is Bob. This is Bob's avatar, and that's his electron, okay? Alice's electron, Bob's electron there. Now, what happens is, if they are entangled, okay, even if you put them, say you put them through a magnetic field, this is that magnetic field. Now, in quantum physics, it is impossible to both measure the velocity of something and measure its position in space at the same time. So that is what's called the uncertainty principle. Doesn't mean you can't be certain about anything. Some people call the uncertainty principle, you know, they use it to say that you can't know anything. That's not what it's saying. It's just saying you can't be certain about both at the same time. You can only either be certain about where this electron is, this particle is in space, or what speed it is traveling at, okay? So now if they put them through, and they haven't measured them yet, okay? All right, so measuring the velocity and measuring the position are two different things. Now, if they put them through the magnetic field, and then they just park Alice here, so she's not doing anything, but they haven't measured her. Then say we put Bob in a rocket ship, and that's my appalling drawing of a rocket ship, and they send that off, 4 light years away, okay? And they send him off to Alpha Centauri, okay? So that's where he is, right? Then they decide to measure Alice, okay? Now, if Alice is spinning upwards, as you know, once something goes through a magnetic field, there's no way of knowing what it's going to do. It's 50-50. It's either going to spin upwards or downwards. But if she's spinning upwards, then even if he's 4 light years away, when they measure him, he will still be spinning upwards, yeah? If she's spinning downwards, same thing. So Bob is still going to do whatever Alice has done, even though he's 4 light years away and cannot see her. And this is what Einstein referred to as spooky action at a distance, yeah? She is affecting his behavior, even though they're 4 light years away, which is pretty cool, right? But where it gets interesting, right? And this, I'm talking to people now who, believe that they are in a soul connection with someone. I don't want to use the word, the term twin flames. It's just, it fell off my radar quite a while ago, and I'm quite happy with that. So, you can still take the information I'm giving you, even if you do consider yourself to be on a twin flame journey. But I'm talking just, about 2 people who would consider themselves to be quantum entangled. So their souls are entangled, okay? And they often do have this kind of telepathy, don't they? But where it gets interesting is that Alice can actually cheat the system. So if Alice's avatar throws a photon at her electron, okay? I'll try and say this slowly because it is complicated. She throws a photon, fires a photon at it with just the right properties. What happens is, if they measure her electron and it's already spinning upwards, the photon will do nothing. Okay, it'll just leave it alone. But if they find when they measure it that her electron is spinning downwards, that photon will shift it and make it spin upwards. So she is going to ascend either way, yeah, with that photon, okay? Again, swap the roles to masculine, feminine. I'm not here to trigger anybody. I'm just talking about entanglement, okay? So she can cheat the system. And what happens is, once she fires that photon, she then becomes, and I should have drawn a picture of a photon actually, but I didn't. So her electron then becomes entangled with the photon. When that happens, her electron is no longer entangled with Bob's electron. And Bob does not receive her messages anymore. Message not transmitted. And this will happen to a lot of soul connections when, one of them suddenly stops receiving communication from the other one. I used to get all this information from you. You used to talk to me in my dreams. I used to just kind of know what you were doing. And now it's like you're not even there. Yeah, that's what's happened. She may have fired a photon. Okay. And why I find that exciting is and this was one of my huge issues with the whole twin flame concept. I did consider myself for years to be somebody on a twin flame journey, and it was painful, and it's like a jail. I do not like the idea that you are inextricably tied to another soul and there's nothing you can do about it, yeah? No, I fired me some big ass photons. I did, okay? And that's not to say that I don't like entanglement. I do like entanglement. It's a question of, I'm quite particular of who I'm entangled with, yeah? If you are a beautiful, loving, joyful, playful, non-judgmental, curious soul, then yeah, tangle me right up, yeah? No issue with it. But it's just yes, I'm selective about the entanglement, and I really, really, really pray that this particular message gets out there to a lot of people. Knowledge is power, It's not, not power as in having power over people, but something like this can be very powerful because it can pull you out of something that you keep getting told in the spiritual community as well that, you're never ever going to be able to get out of, yeah? So I would really recommend anybody who finds this interesting to read a little bit more about quantum mechanics. Sean Carroll is a wonderful advocate of it. So I would recommend looking into him. If you don't like reading, even just listen to some of his podcasts. But I think that's all for today. I'm eyeing those Tim Tams. Yeah, I gotta go. I wish you a oh no, I knew there was one more thing I wanted to say. If there's anyone who watches this Sean Carroll, I'm also talking to you if this ever gets around to you. But yeah, anyone watching this who knows physics quite well and can explain, because there are lots of concepts that I still do really struggle with, I would be, please contact me and I will happily pay you for some tutoring. So yeah, I wish you a great day and please find time to play.